And this is a unique show, and we won't mention ABC class of 2000, but that's a long time ago. So you guys can do the math to see how old we are. But a special guest today is my classmate Dave Julien. And so Dave, thanks so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Really looking forward to the conversation.
Our viewing and listening audience doesn't know your story about how you got into veterinary medicine. You're unique too, because there's a cycling background there. And why don't we talk about that? So how did you get involved in veterinary medicine?
Yeah, so I mean, like most veterinarians, it's always based in the love of pets. I love science. I love, setting goals and going after them. I like to simplify things. So I distinctly remember choosing two paths. One was to be a professional cyclist, and the other was to, go to veterinary school and be a veterinarian. And so I mapped it out. I decided this is how long I'll spend riding my bike, and this is when it's crunch time, right? And so trained really hard, spent a couple years in Belgium racing pretty intensely. And then when the time came that I had mapped out to, go to vet school, I changed gears without regret. Felt really good about what I did on the bike, but was certainly ready for that next challenge. And I actually talk a lot about this. I think things like endurance sports, discipline, setting goals helps prepare you for a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think it helped me, study. I could spend 5 hours on a bike. There was no problem spending 5 hours studying for an exam. So when I was, we're going pretty far back, but I believe when I was 23, that's when I chose to go to university and do my pre-vet.
It's okay, Dave, because I'm much older than you, so you don't worry about that.
When you said we're old, we were old back then. I think we could always chalk it up to an advantage, right?
Yeah, I was at an event yesterday, and so the funny thing is, so there's another guy who's Chinese descent. He asked me how old I was, and I told him. He goes, "Wow, you don't look it nice." So I go, "Wow, there's an Asian telling me that I."
That has got to feel good.
We met up in East Coast Canada. That's where Dave's from. Dave's from the East Coast Canada, so we're both Canadian. And if you didn't pick up the way he said "out,"
it's still with me.
Oh yeah.
Well, I go back probably every 2 years, and we spend a few weeks. And my wife is from Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I'm based in right now. And she develops a Canadian accent.
Oh, that's awesome.
After only 2 weeks of being back home, so I always tease her about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've been in that area since vet school, right? You graduated from the West, yeah? It's
kind of interesting. When we were in, I think, fourth year, I don't know if you remember, but there was recruiters in the lobby, and they had asked whether, we wanted to go do an externship, and it was just, I think we just finished our exams, and I had some freedom, and that was in '99, and they just, said, would you like to come down and do an externship? I said, sure, and they were like, where? And I'm like, okay, it's cold here, let's go down to Phoenix. And I did a month, and then I migrated 6 months later permanently down to Phoenix, and have been here since 2000. So.
And you worked for corporate vet, right? That's who you worked for,
Yeah.
And so what's your take on that for any new grads? What would you say about corporate versus private?
I think it's like anything, if you get the right mentor, if you get the right hospital, there's variability amongst private practice, there's variability amongst corporate practices. Luckily, like I said, I spent 4 weeks doing an externship with the doctor that I would be mentored of, and it just reassured me that I made the right decision. There's pluses and minuses either way you look, and I think you just got to choose. Mentorship is big, whether you're able to perform the quality medicine that you really would like to, and you just have to base those decisions off of what you see. But my experience was perfect. I learned a lot about practicing, and then in the later years really had the opportunity to learn about leadership, operations, finance, those things that you don't always get taught in school. So it was good for me. I enjoyed it. Absolutely. Yeah.
So why are you asking me questions then, man? You're all set.
Because there's a lot of other things. You never. I mean, it's like when you first start practicing. You set a, you think 5 years you're gonna know 90% of what you need to know, and then you get to 5 years and you're like, okay, I know maybe 40% of what I need to know. There's always, you don't know what you don't know, I guess, is my biggest thing. And so I'm a big fan of learning from those that have done it really well, and you've obviously been very successful. And so I'd rather learn from other people's successes and maybe opportunities where they might want to do things a bit different.